So I'm very excited to talk about Weixelbaum. I think everyone who's ever met Heinz and Gabi, immediately are in love not just with their wines, but with them as well. They are a partnership, husband-wife, that are located in Kamptal in the village of Strasse. The family's also been there for hundreds of years. And this area in Kamptal has fantastic Grüner and Riesling. And you do definitely see the stylistic differences between that and other regions of Austria. Heinz is a very jovial person. He is someone that if you meet him, his laugh is going to stay with you for the rest of his life. And Gabi is always just consummate professional with a smile and just giving, and an ultra professional person that also looks after us when we go to visit the winery. She's an amazing person, an amazing host, and an amazing winemaker as well. Heinz and Gabi work in the winery together. Heinz does all of the work in the vineyards and in the cellar, but it's Gabi who really runs the day-to-day business of Weixelbaum. I think just as another side note, just about Heinz Weixelbaum and Gabi is whenever you're there, you really are welcomed. I think sometimes in our culture in the United States, we think about Germanic peoples as being very cold and closed. But I think if you meet Heinz and Gabi Weixelbaum, that assumption is turned on its head because they are the most welcoming people who are also very serious about what they do. So Grüner Veltliner is the most important varietal that we have from Weixelbaum. And we have many different levels. And we start with the Gur, which is a land wine. So this is a wine that is not designated as a vintage because it is not allowed to be. But it is all their vineyards that are all on the lower slopes of Strasse. And it still has the same quality. It's just not going to be from as older vines. And it's usually the young vines that we have. But it's very fresh. It still has great texture. The next wine, and this is them also following now, which is the DAC. They have the regional wine, which is the Weixelbaum DAC Kamptal Grüner Veltliner. And on this one, stainless steel, very bright, very fresh. It still has some round texture. That's the thing I love about Grüner Veltliner, is that it always has a little bit of viscosity, and I think that makes it a very versatile wine. The next wine is, we're actually going up the hill, which is the Wechselberg. Now, the word Wechsel in German means change, and Berg is mountain. So this is actually where the slope vineyards meet the terrace vineyards. And what's very interesting about this is that you get both the freshness that you would taste out of the Kamptal, which is very bright, but then you also get a richness and a core in the mid palate that you would get from the higher elevation wines. So it has that balance between the two. The next Grüner Veltliner is the Gaisberg. And Gaisberg is the most important vineyard site in Strasse. And here it is grown with both Grüner Veltliner and Riesling. But here you have even higher concentrations of loess and also quartz and other perigneous rocks that are decomposing. And from here you get very rich, full-bodied style Grüner Veltliner along with a big mineral core. And those wines are generally aged in large Austrian oak barrels. So the Alta Raben is now a new classification that they are doing. Actually, many other wineries have in their lineup is an Alta Raben. Alta Raben means Vievin, means old vines. So that's what you need to know about that. Now the Alta Raben that we have is a combination of 3 different vineyard sites, but they're all the older vines, which are at least 30 years or older. And the reason why we have it in this direction is that because now Gaisberg has been classified as Erste Lage, it makes sense to have a regional wine, which is the Kamptal Grüner, then have Alta Raben, which is old vines, but it's still not classified Erste Lage, which is first growth, which is what the Gaisberg is. And so that is why we have the Alta Raben. So another vineyard site that actually they only acquired a few years ago is the Riesling Heiligenstein. And so this is on another hill next to Geisberg and near the town of, near Zeubing. And this is probably the most famous Riesling vineyard site in Kamptal. And its name is the Heiligenstein, which is the Holy Stone. But actually in the olden days, it was known as the Hellstone because it would get very warm. Now warm is very relative to us because now it's actually getting even warmer. But for them at those times, kind of like the idea of the Thousand Eimenberg, where you were able to then actually ripen a lot of fruit at that time, this showed a really high quality vineyard site. So for them to add this vineyard in the last few years is really a prestigious step for the winery as well.